Good afternoon all. Today we'll see genetics. I will try to cover topic by giving you basic introduction, then what is inheritance pattern of genetic disorder, list of certain genetic disorder with mnemonics so that it will be easy for you to remember it, because to mug up list of all genetic disorder is quite difficult, and in the era of competitive exam, uh, you should know about each and every genetic disorder, means whether it is coming in autosomal dominant or recessive or X-linked dominant or X-linked recessive inheritance. It is it is most commonly asked question also. Then how to read pedigree chart, classification of certain genetic disorders, chromosomal abnormalities, unifactorial diseases, multifactorial disorder, role of genetic predisposition in common disorders, then advances in molecular genetics. It is separate topic and it is quite lengthy one, so I will not cover it in this lecture. I will take separate lecture for this. Then population genetics. Frequently short answer question is asked on this topic at both undergraduate and postgraduate level. So I will try to cover it in detailed form. Then preventive and social measure of genetic disorders. So gene are unit of hereditary. Gene can be homozygous or heterozygous, and there is constant mutation going on. Genotype of any person is his genetic constitution, and outward appearance of that person is known as phenotype. To remember inheritance pattern of certain genetic disorder, try to remember this 6 or 7 points. Like autosomal disorder have 50 is to 50 uh, proportion, means 50% male and 50% female are affected. This is autosomal disorder. Now how to differentiate between autosomal dominant and autosomal recessive? So dominant disorder will not have any skip generation, means when you see pedigree chart or family history, then you will see every generation is affected by disease. But in recessive disorder you will see skip generation. So in an exam, or when you are seeing pedigree chart, if you are finding a skip generation, then it is recessive disorder. Now coming on to X-linked recessive disorder. X-linked recessive disorder, female are mostly are carriers of disease, because to express disease it require homozygous state. So males are generally affected and female are generally carriers of disease, and there is no male to male transmission of disease. If father is affected, then all of daughter will be carrier and all of son will be affected. Now coming on to X-linked dominant disorder. Disorder is more frequent among female than male as compared to X-linked recessive disorder. And in male, disorder has milder expression. Then X-linked dominant is somehow looks similar to autosomal dominant, but how you will differentiate it with with autosomal dominant? In this case, affected male will transmit disorder to all his daughters, but not to his any son. So X-linked dominant disorder, though more frequently occur in female than as compared to male, but male will transmit disease to all his daughter and not to his son. Now coming on to mitochondrial inheritance, it is strictly occur with female, and affected female transmit disease to all of her children. So in pedigree chart, if you are finding normal male marrying to affected female, and if you are saying ki all of her offspring are affected, then it is mitochondrial inherited diseases. Okay. Now in order to understand pedigree chart, you have to understand this symbol first. So this colored square is affected male, colored circle is affected female, then triangle is miscarriage, if it is diamond then unknown sex, uh, if this box and circle is connected by arrow, then this is mating. Then two square connected by a single line is identical twins. This is unidentical twins. If there is two line, then this is consanguineous marriage. If box is inside the bracket, then this shows adopted child. So now moving on to autosomal dominant disorder. So mnemonic to remember it is dominant VH. From D it is dystrophia myotonica. From O it is osteogenesis imperfecta or osteospongosis. From M it is Marfan syndrome. From I it is intermittent porphyria. From N it is Noonan syndrome. From A it is achondroplasia or adult polycystic kidney disease. From N it is neurofibromatosis. From T it is tuberous sclerosis. From V it is von Hippel-Lindau disease or Wilms tumor, which is commonly asked during multiple choice question. Then from H it is Huntington chorea, hereditary spherocytosis and hypercholesteremia. Now, in order to understand, we'll see this pedigree chart. Now in this, we can see that affected male is transmitting disease to female, to daughter, but not his son. Then we'll see in pedigree chart that half of 50 to 50% is there. 50% male and 50% female are affected by disease. In dominant disorder, you can see this generation is affected, this generation is also affected, and third generation is also affected. But in recessive disorder, you can see this generation is not affected. You'll see this and this generation is affected. So skip generation is characteristic of autosomal recessive disorder. Now moving on to autosomal recessive pneumonia, that is fried puri or garam chawal must hai. So from F it is Friedreich's ataxia, from P it is phenylketonuria, from G galactosemia, then cystic fibrosis, hemochromatosis, alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, Wilson disease, alkaptonuria, lysosomal and glycosomal storage disorder, muscular atrophy, adrenal hyperplasia, sickle cell disease, which is most common at our side, then thalassemia and homocystinuria. So blood disorder, may say sickle cell and thalassemia, which is most commonly we encounter is autosomal recessive. Now moving on to X-linked recessive disorder, pneumonic is less HCG detected in clinically fragile women. So from L it is Leishman syndrome, from H hemophilia A and B and Hunter syndrome, from C it is chronic granulomatous disease, from D it is G6PD disease, then Duchenne's muscular dystrophy, diabetes insipidus, color blindness from C, then from A it is agalaminoglobulemiia, from F it is Fragile X syndrome and Fabry's disease, and from W it is Wiskott-Ulrich syndrome. Now X-linked dominant we have four disorder, that is hypophosphatemic type of vitamin D resistance ricket, incontinea pigmenti, Alport syndrome and orofacial digital syndrome. Now for mitochondrial inheritance we have Leber's optic neuropathy, Leak's disease and mitochondrial encephalopathy, lactic acidosis and stroke-like syndrome. Now inheritance pattern of X-linked dominant. As I had told you, male will transmit, you can see here, male will transmit disease to all daughter but none of his son. So it is X-linked dominant. Now mitochondrial inheritance. You can see this female is affected, this female is transmitting disease to all of her children. Then this female is affected, male is unaffected. In pedigree chart you can see all of her offspring are affected. Though affected male is not transmitting disease to any children. So it is mitochondrial inheritance. Now in this pedigree chart you can see half of male are affected, half of female are affected. Yeah. Then every generation is affected, so it is autosomal dominant disorder. In this you can see one generation gets skipped. Yeah, this generation skip. So skip generation is characteristics of autosomal recessive. Now X-linked recessive disorder. In this female is carrier. Carrier female is transmitting disease to son and daughters are carrier. Okay. Male is transmitting disease. Male is affected and he is transmitting disease to female, but females are carriers of disease. This is X-linked recessive disorder. Now chromosomal abnormality can occur during cell division, either due to non-distinction of chromosome, either due to their translocation or due to deletion of chromosome or due to their duplication or inversion or due to formation of isochromosomes or due to mosaicism. Now abnormalities of sex chromosome. Now we'll deal with the Klinefelter syndrome. In this affected male is phenotypically male but with non-functional testis. As testis is not there, testosterone hormone is not there, so there is secondary sexual character will not be developed. So the growth of hair on face, axilla, and pubis is scanty. There is a development of breast like a female, like gynecomastia, and there is mental retardation component also. The incidence is 1 in 1,000 among male, and the person having XXY karyotyping is having tendency of antisocial, criminal, and aggressive behavior. And these male have exceptional height, that is more than 6 feet. Now coming on to Turner syndrome, as there is non-disjunction, means chromosomes are failing to separate during the cell division. So one haploid cell will have a less number of chromosome and one haploid cell will have a more number of chromosome. So Turner syndrome, there is absence of one pair of chromosome. So there is 44X0. So it is most common disorder, but 98% of cases fetus means conceptus abort spontaneously. Only 2% of pregnancy reaches term. So incidence is 1 in 7,500 live birth, and majority of them died in neonatal period. Now these Turner syndrome are apparently female but underdeveloped sex gland. So clinically the patient are of short stature, infertile, and have primary amenorrhea. They often show other congenital defect associated, for example coarctation of aorta, pulmonary stenosis, there is renal malformation, and mental retardation. Now, if one haploid cell have a less number of chromosome, other haploid cell will have a more number of chromosome. So that result in super female. Now remember, as the number of X chromosome increases, number of chances of mental retardation goes on increases, and also congenital abnormalities increases. So greater the degree of mental retardation and congenital abnormality in super female. Now, disorder relating to autosome include trisomy 21, that is Down syndrome. This is most commonly we see, that is also called as Mongolism. Incidence is 1 in 900 births. This patient has short stature, small rounded head, narrow tilted eyelid. Sorry, I forgot to put a picture, otherwise it will be easy for you to understand. But lot of time you must have seen this patient in OPD also. So they have tilted eyelids, malformed ear, short broad hand, lax limb, and they are mentally retarded. In addition to that, they have congenital defect also, such as cardiac defect and atresia of alimentary tract. Trisomy 21 or Down syndrome has a relation with advancing maternal age. Now, Mendelian disease. Mendelian disease means those diseases which follows the Mendelian law of inheritance. Means, as I told you already, autosomal dominant mode of inheritance, autosomal recessive, X-linked dominant, and X-linked recessive mode of inheritance. So, if the question is there on Mendelian diseases, then you have to elaborate as much as you have to elaborate about all this disorder, and you can write down in detail about inheritance pattern also, as I told you in earlier slides. Now, sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia is a autosomal recessive disorder in which there is abnormal hemoglobin formation. This will start manifesting after first year of life. When fetal hemoglobin will replace by adult hemoglobin, then that time the disease will start manifesting. In this case, if patient is homozygous for a disease, then he will have a frank anemia, and due to that there is hemolysis of cell and hemodilution, which causes hyperdynamic pericardium, systolic murmur, patient will have hepatomegaly, and finally patient will die due to multi-organ failure. This patient requires comprehensive medical management. Prevention is better and easy for them, as sickle cell trait we can easily identify before marriage, and through prospective genetic counseling we can discourage the couple who both are heterozygous for the trait to get married and have a children. Then if we'll not able to catch up this and somehow catch up this couple during counseling, or they miss genetic counseling, then we can do prenatal diagnostic early and do preventive measures according to that. Now, thalassemia. Thalassemia is due to reduction in synthesis of globin chain or reduced globin chain synthesis. The patient will have hypochromic microcytic anemia. Alpha thalassemia is primarily due to gene deletion, while beta thalassemia is due to point mutation. This is also one of your multiple choice question. Then prenatal diagnosis can help in planning other preventive measures. Then hemophilia. Hemophilia affect 15 to 20 of every 10,000 individuals, male. While the disorder affect male, it carries by female. As we have seen, it is X-linked recessive disorder, who are only occasionally affected, usually mildly. The disorder concerns the absence, decrease or deficiency function of blood. Coagulation factor leading to excessive prolonged bleeding, and in severe cases most commonly occur in the large joint of limbs. Now, hypertension, diabetes, ischemic heart disease, schizophrenia, duodenal ulcer, congenital heart malformation, and cancer. These all multifactorial disorder also have genetic predisposition. As we have seen, diabetes have HLA association. Cancer have P53 gene mutation, then BRCA1, BRCA2 gene association. So this multifactorial disorder have genetic predisposition. So prevention is also important factor in prevention of genetic disorder will also have some role in prevention of this multifactorial disorder also. Now nowadays there is advances in molecular genetics. Various DNA technologies are there, like DNA probes, means we are formulating DNA sequence and we are creating DNA probe. From that probe we can easily identify other homologous pair of sequence of that DNA. Then with the PCR we can easily identify viral DNA in a smallest tissue fragment. Then we can synthesize new DNA. We can create transgenic animal. With the help of gene therapy, we can add or we can add favorable gene or we can delete unfavorable gene from gene pool of a population. Then there is human genome product, which is currently going on. So molecular genetics itself is a huge topic. We'll deal with it in a separate topic. Okay, separate lecture. Then now coming on to population genetics. What do you mean by population genetics? A study of precise genetic composition of population is population genetics, and various factors which determines the incidence of inheritance of this genetic pool. Now, Hardy-Weinberger's laws state that the relative frequency of each allele tend to remain constant from generation to generation. Means genetic pool of population will never change from generation to generation. It was said by Hardy-Weinberger, but this is not the case. Why? Because there are multiple factors which influence the gene frequency in a population. For example, mutation. There is constant mutation going on, either due to point mutation or due to deletion of genes, due to radiation, due to various factors. Through that constant mutation is going on the genetic composition or genetic pool of the population. Then other theory is natural selection. As Darwin says, there is survival of the fittest. What do you mean by that? The favorable gene survive the natural selection process and it will carry on through generation to generation, and unfavorable gene automatically get deleted. Then population movement, as immigration and immigration will constantly lead to the mixing of population. And then there is due to that mixing of population, mixing of genetic pool, and that will also lead to change in genetic composition of population. Then certain public health measure. For example, earlier person with some congenital heart defect or person with some inborn error of metabolism was not able to survive for a long period of time. They will not be able to bring offspring and will have future generation, and that gene which is defective in that person was not able to carry in the next generation, because person will not have that much survival itself to get married or to have a future generation. But with advances in public health measures, now person with inborn error of metabolism or any cardiac defect or any congenital defect are able to survive. They will have they are able to have a future generation, and in short, these unfavorable gene are able to carry out to the next generation. So it is not possible that genetic pool of a population or genetic composition of a population is constant throughout the generation. It's subject to the change constantly through either through mutation, either through natural selection, or through population movement, or through public health measures itself. Now coming on to preventive and social measures. So health promotive measures include eugenics. What do you mean by eugenics? There is two type of eugenics, that is negative and positive. Negative eugenics used to be practiced by Hitler, that is person having defective gene or genetic makeup or weak gene are not allowed to have children. In fact, they were killed in order to remove negative gene composition from a population. But this is not ethical, and this is not practicable also. So what do you mean by positive eugenics? In positive eugenics, the heterozygous person are allowed to have a children, and but how eugenics will not control the genetic disorder, because even if we try to control the inheritance of certain disorder by not allowing two heterozygous person to marry, but this is in the case only when we are knowing about inheritance pattern of particular disease. But certain trait we are not about known about their inheritance pattern. We are not sure about that which trait we are going to transfer to our next generation, which trait we are not going to transfer. So we are not having strict control over the factors or traits which we are going to transfer to the future generation. So yeah, in addition to eugenics, we should work on environmental factor also. So in uh, in addition to improvement in genetic composition of person, environmental factor also should be improved, and the combination of genetic and environmental factor will bring a favorable genetic pool in the population, that is known as eugenics. Now, second preventive measure, that is health promotive measures, is genetic counseling. As I told you, prospective genetic counseling. I have given you example of sickle cell patient also. He will counsel the couple before marriage only, will screen the person for certain genetic disorder. If you found out that both are heterozygous, then we'll discourage them to marry and to have a children or future generation. But most of the time, genetic counseling is not prospective. Most of the time, it is retrospective. How the couple will have some abnormal child, then they will come for the counseling. Then we'll do certain test, and then we'll come to know that these people are carrier or these people are heterozygous for certain traits. In that case, we'll advise couple not to bear future children. Now, other genetic preventive measures include discourage consanguineous marriages and prevent late marriages, which is very rampant nowadays. Now, specific protection measures. As I told you, there is constant mutation going on, and this mutation happens due to exposure to ultraviolet rays, X-rays, radiation. So try to avoid and minimize radiation hazard, X-ray exposures, and specifically protect people from certain hazards which will bring uh, any change in its genetic composition or bring out mutations. Then early diagnosis and treatment of genetic disorder. We'll detect the genetic carriers through screening measures. If it is not possible, then we'll do prenatal diagnostic. Now, various prenatal diagnostic techniques are there. For example, amniocentesis, chorionic villus biopsy. Then we simply by ultrasound will do anomaly scan to detect any abnormality in fetus. Then fetoscopy. Then if maternal age is advanced, then we'll do triple test to detect whether child is having Down syndrome or a neural tube defect. So various prenatal diagnostic techniques are there which can identify fetal with genetic disorder early, and we can have an option of abortion at early stages. Then if it's not possible and child born, then newborn from we can screen a newborn child to identify certain inborn error of metabolism, certain congenital hypothyroidism, congenital dislocation of hip, then certain genetic disorder we can identify early by screening the newborn infant. Then we recognize these preclinical cases and will try to avoid as much as or give some measures as much as to reduce the harm which can occur due to disease. For example, if patient is having phenylketonuria, and if we identify this condition early, then we can do a dietary modification in that child. Then we can treat congenital dislocation of hip early. We can treat congenital hypothyroidism. In this case, in this way, we can identify, recognize preclinical cases early, treat them early, and avoid or prevent harm as much as possible. If nothing can be done, then we'll do rehabilitation, uh, counseling of couple, so that they can bear a child if they have mentally retarded child, and rehabilitation of that child through either physiotherapy or occupational therapy, or treating the or what you say, training their child to the extent so that he can do his work, or to that extent he can manage his life by own as far as possible. So this is all about genetics. I hope you like and understood. Thank you so much.